not worried about his power or his height or anything like that?
Not at all. It's a few ways you can skin a cat, you know what I mean?
How's Tank been?
A good head space, great head space, looking good, you know, just trying to go through our stages, you know, it's like pre-camp and camp, you know, get them from, we ain't fought in a while, you know what I'm saying?
Jake Paul's whole world fell apart when a leaked training video of Gervonta Tank Davis went up online. The movie had more than just scenes of a fighter hitting pads or working the bag. There was a meaning. Tank's punches were right on target, strong, and well-timed. The warning was louder than any thanks because it was quick, accurate, and not too aggressive. It could be trash talk. It wasn't just training. Things were falling apart. Jake knew about it. For the first time, it looked like his usual bravado was gone. There was tension behind the usual sneer and arrogant speech, as if he knew he was going into a more difficult area than before.
Going for your fight, I think fans are very excited for you and Tank.
Yeah, no, I'm locked in. I know this is my toughest fight. He's undefeated, highly skilled, most experienced fighter I've fought, top 5 pound for pound. So I have to have the best version of myself. I know how fast he is. I know how strong he is. I believe I'm stronger, more athletic, and that's my advantage going into the fight. But he pretty much has every other advantage. So I'm locked in.
Doesn't have any power. He was born a warrior and became one through hard work and fighting in Baltimore's tough gyms. Jake Paul finally admitted what fans had long suspected. Tank is better in almost every way, such as speed, skill, timing, and experience. It sounded more like an excuse for doubt than assurance when he talked about sheer power. Jake posted his own angry training video, in which he yelled through gritted teeth, smashed heavy bags, and threw crazy combos to show how dedicated he was. Boxing fans who were purists could see through it, but the power was real. It doesn't really matter if the man on the other side of you is strong.
Jake Paul's like a heavyweight, Tank's a lightweight. How does he adjust to that weight? You know, how do you see the fight playing out?
I can't give up too much, but
yeah,
we're going to cross that bridge when we get to it.
Definitely. So you're not worried about his power or his height or anything like that?
Not at all.
On being patient and correct Coach Calvin Ford and Kenny Ellis. On the other hand, watched the chaos in Tank's camp with calm confidence and didn't seem scared. Ellis smiled, and that said it all. People had already picked apart Jake Paul. There are 3 ways to skin a cat. Ellis almost spoke in a tone.
It's wrong. Gone from Krusty the Clown now to Sideshow Bob. He's getting worse. You know what I mean? Like, this is a guy that's just taking a piss out of the sport, and I don't think this is actually gained much interest. The press conference was dead. Yeah, I noticed there weren't many press there. It's not had a big media coverage. Yeah. I think people are finally realising actually that this is a big charade, and yeah, I think I'm not impressed. Gervonta Davis, I think maybe he's had enough of the game.
Tank's team studied Jake Paul's game closely and devised a plan to counter him. Then Carl Froch, the former world champion, weighed in, calling Jake a bully, a view shared by many boxers. He questioned Jake's decision to chase heavyweights 1 month and then a much smaller opponent the next, calling it desperation from someone who once fought the best. Froch criticized Jake's antics, saying they masked insecurity rather than showed bravery. He even joked about the size mismatch, comparing Gervonta Davis to one of Anthony Joshua's legs, highlighting the stark difference in experience, weight, and reach.
Jake Paul is fighting one of Anthony Joshua's legs. He's fighting Gervonta Davis, somebody who's a quarter of his size. I don't even know what's going on. Has Eddie Hearn been played? Let me know what you think, but the AJ fight with Jake Paul's finished. Gervonta Davis, fake Paul, November. I don't know what's going on in the world of boxing.
Tank's team analyzed Jake Paul's style and built a strategy to counter him. Former champ Carl Froch called Jake a bully and questioned why he chased heavyweights 1 month, then a much smaller fighter the next, calling it desperation. He said Jake's antics hide insecurity, not bravery, and joked that Gervonta Davis looks like one of Anthony Joshua's legs, pointing out the huge gap in size and experience.
When
seen the power. He has, isn't he? We haven't really seen Jake Paul take a proper.
No, I mean, listen, he'll have a lot of smoke blowing up his backside by his coaching team and people like that. But when he gets hit, be real. But 10 ounce, well, I'm told it's 16 ounce gloves now for like an exhibition.
Tank's punches aren't just powerful, they're surgical, ending careers and breaking ribs. Tank's punches come with bad intentions, said Bellew, dismissing YouTuber knockouts. There's no editing when 8-ounce gloves hit skin. If Tank lands his left, Jake's confidence won't protect his chin, even if it sells pay-per-views. Despite talk of bigger gloves and head go, one issue remains: fear. Many believe Jake wouldn't last 3 rounds under real rules, and Bellew's warning made it clear: the ring isn't a stage.
Really hard in that last one that he had with him. And I just feel Moses, like I said, needs rounds.
Yeah.
I don't doubt how good he is. I think he's absolutely exceptional. But you will never know how good he is until he goes past them first 6. And then he ends going into the back 6 and he's...
Jake responded with his usual arrogance, calling Gervonta Davis his employee, a move that came off as desperate. Beneath the trash talk was fear, as if he was trying to convince himself he belonged alongside a pound-for-pound star. The insults and bold claims felt hollow, because in the ring, it's Tank who will be in control. Tank doesn't talk much, but his fists do. Promoter Eddie Hearn, who's seen everything from influencers to legends, summed it up: this fight isn't boxing, but it might sell. With that, he made the difference between business and integrity clear.
Against Gervonta Davis, it'll probably do massive numbers. So that's when you really have to differentiate yourself between, just because you don't like it doesn't mean it isn't going to do good business. However you want to be involved with it is another kettle of fish. I don't want to be involved with it, but I do respect the fact that it's going to do big numbers. It's just not boxing. And I don't think we should promote it as boxing.
Jake's skill is creating spectacle and controversy, while Gervonta Davis stands for boxing's tradition and discipline. Eddie Hearn sees Jake as a social media figure blurring the sport's identity, but Jake's name still sells fights. Ironically, ignoring the fight may make it bigger. Beneath the hype, Gervonta fights a legacy, Jake for approval. And when the lights go out, reality hits. Shakur Stevenson, a calm and precise technician, believes he can see through Jake.
I can see Tank just outboxing him and making it real easy.
Is there any way you could, any realistic or legitimate way in your mind you could see Jake Paul winning a fight against Tank?
No.
No way.
Nope.
Jake lacks Tank skill in timing, distance, and adapting mid-fight. Gervonta will expose Jake's mistakes and break his rhythm. Shakur sees boxing as truth, revealing delusion. Veteran Duke McKenzie called Jake's approach disrespectful to process, emphasizing that hard work and sacrifice, not shortcuts, define boxing.
I think it's a very dangerous fight because we've got a trained athlete who's 18 stone plus against a much smaller guy who really he's not, you know, he hasn't earned the right.
Jake skipped the hard-earned humility most fighters learn in gyms. Now he faces Tank Davis, a skilled southpaw who punishes arrogance. Size won't help when you miss punches. Veteran McKenzie warned Jake that treating this fight as a show will bring harsh lessons. MMA legend Bisping called Jake a bully for choosing smaller, older, or less experienced opponents, calling the 100-pound gap marketing, not bravery.